Hello there again, and welcome to my YouTube channel, The Quiet Stories of Life, where I'm reading some extracts from the book of the same name, The Quiet Stories of Life, which is available electronically, Barnes & Nobles, Amazon.com and all good outlets. Or if you would like a hard copy, which would save me and support me better, please visit my webpage, maurice.ie. IE stands for Ireland, and I would be very happy if you'd buy a hard copy, because I can at least have control over it and make a little bit more money from the sale of my published hard copies as opposed to electronic copies. As I said, this book was about 90% true, and I'm going to read you a story today of Somalia. I spent some time there with the United Nations in 1994, and I kept a daily diary, and this is what this is. It's just clippings and thoughts that came out of my diary. So without further ado, page 37, Somalia under conflict, from the book The Quiet Stories of Life. March 28, 1994. I transfer from residence 24 to residence number 13 near the airport. Finally, I have got a single room. Carlson, my ex-roommate, will be happy. We both dislike sharing. It is a small room on the first floor with large double windows, very bright and cheerful. I'm happy. I can now enjoy my stay in the southern compound. March 31. One of our national staff is shot dead by a sniper during a convoy along Dead Cow Road. One UN civilian, a Nigerian national, kidnapped while walking unescorted between two UN residences in the southern compound. April 1. Heavy gunfire erupted from the direction of the airport. I can see the red streaks of tracer bullets going low over the roof of my bedroom window. The Nigerian kidnapped the previous day was released when his captives realized that he was a fellow African and Muslim. April 2. An American working for the International Committee of the Red Cross is kidnapped. His national driver is shot dead. Our convoy to work uses the longer but safer coast road route today. Travel within the southern compound is again restricted. Even to walk between residences is forbidden. I didn't come here to be held a prisoner. April the 4th. Ordered to wear our flak jackets and helmets at all times. Landmines discovered on the coast road route. April the 5th. The weekly meeting informs us that 66 people were arrested in the seaport for looting offences. That night, the residence of the Nepalese soldiers, 300 meters away, is attacked with rocket-propelled grenades. Fierce fighting ensues for about 15 minutes. I count at least 8 rockets. I dismantle my bed and place the mattress on the floor where I snuggle below window level. April 17. Heavy shooting around the airport last night. The Egyptian troops are always ready to respond to shooting, but they shoot deliberately high in the hope to scare away rather than engage. The embassy compound was sealed off today because someone stole $4 million in cash from a filing cabinet in the finance department. 1800 hours. I never heard such gunfire before. Some stray rounds have hit our residence. April 18th. Gunfire never abated last night. Travelled to work under the crackle of gunfire. 1400 hours. 2 Nepalese soldiers shot dead on the streets of the southern compound. Running street battles continue between Somali factions. We are unable to return to our residence. Sleep in a converted container in the embassy compound. Not so pleasant, but what else can I do? April 19th. Rumours that my house has been looted. I sit in the embassy compound without a change of clothes or shaving kit. Later, some of us from the transport department take a special convoy to the southern compound transport yard. We come under attack, 2 wounded. Sporadic fighting occurring all around the area. It's insane. My passport and several $1,000s are in my residence. It is only 600 meters away. I can see the house from the window of the transport office, but it might as well be 600 kilometers. A passport is not worth dying for. Stayed the night in a residence abutting the transport yard. Exhausted to fear, I sleep well. April the 20th. Surprisingly little gunfire last night. Our convoy proceeds to the workshop without incident. After work I return to the embassy compound. The southern compound remains off limits. April 21. About 100 Somali clansmen breached the airport perimeter. The Egyptian troops abandoned their post. Likewise the Kiwi troops and the civilian personnel choose to take cover on the beach behind the sand dunes. A sniper kills the house guard in my previous residence 24. Very sad. He was a nice, quite well-mannered man. The Pakistani and the Cobra helicopters are given poor accounts of developments. They tend to fly 1,000 feet too high and in the wrong direction. I would probably do the same. Rumours are rife that the Somali National Alliance has intervened between the Hawadl and the Haba Gadir clans, who are fighting for possession of the southern compound. April 22. A heavily armed convoy, including 11 buses of civilians and a helicopter overhead, make for the southern compound via the coast road. A Russian cargo plane is descending for landing when suddenly it aborts, sporting trails of black unburned fuel from its engines as it rises back into the sky. We immediately know there is trouble ahead. We must wait beside the beautiful blue sea for half an hour while the roadblock is dismantled ahead and the area inspected. Once again we're on the move. People sigh with relief. As we enter the narrow streets of the southern compound, I can see the aircraft is approaching again. Our house staff are overjoyed to see us, and us them. There has been no looting. I still have a passport. April 23rd. Our local security from the transport convoy are missing. Half of them are Hawadl, and the Herbagiba are now in control of the southern compound. The situation remains tense. Preparations are underway for a meeting between the warlords General Adid and Ali Mahdi in the embassy compound. Personally, I think the UN is overestimating the situation. Both men fear the other and will never meet in Somalia. It will be adjourned to Nairobi, Egypt or Ethiopia, where the UN will pick up the $150,000 a day hotel bill. Several rockets are also fired at the airport. April 24. 2300 hours. Heavy fighting around the airport. The sky is lit up with tracer bullets. Our guards in the residence are shooting, and I don't know at whom. The residence vibrates as rockets explode nearly, and the crackle of gunfire crawls down my spine. I think the front gates have been blown in. I lie on my mattress on the floor, too afraid to move. Dumb thoughts fill my head. I desperately want to put on my jeans. If a rocket comes in the window, the shrapnel will surely kill me, and I don't want to be found naked. My 2 big lovely windows that I enjoy so much in sunshine are now in darkness, evil eyes staring in at me. Nobody is surprised when instructed the following morning by radio to pack for evacuation and remain indoors until further instructions. Sporadic shooting continues during the day. From the bathroom window I can see armed guards roaming the streets. They can easily enter our residences. Our guards' efforts would be futile against such an assault. Trapped, we worry and wait. There is nothing else we can do. April 25, 10 o'clock. A fleet of buses and locally hired trucks park outside our residence, and we filter aboard quickly, quietly, and gaunt-faced. All of us know we will never return to this house. This is the end. Epilogue. It is hard to imagine the scars of a country in the aftermath of a violent civil war. In Somalia, there is no government, no public services, nobody in authority. The police force is demoralised, outgunned, and riddled by tribal loyalties. City refuge is never collected. Like the sand, it drifts across the roads and is trampled underfoot. The roads simply disappear. The reeking odours become widespread. There is little transport or fuel. Telephone lines and electric cables have been looted for their copper. The postal service and banks have long closed. Decay has eroded all normality that once resided in Somalia. Few civilians are working. All businesses, without exception, have been looted or seriously disrupted. What remains is anarchy. Everyone looks human suffering is evident. Hospitals have been ransacked and looted. Without disinfectants, hygiene is impossible. Minor surgery is undertaken without anaesthetic, and major surgery frequently proves fatal. And even such limited services is dependent on the UN, who donate the fuel to the hospital generators. There is no running water or electricity to drive the deep bore pumps. Surface water collected by clans must be bought and is often contaminated by livestock and human feces alike. In recent weeks, an outbreak of cholera has claimed many lives. Black market prices have placed basic food beyond the reach of many. Driven by such desperation, hardship and crime escalates. My total association with the Somali people is with the few mechanics in our workshop and begging children from the vehicle windows. There are many things I forget to mention. The oddities I encounter, the written death threats, signs of progress, shops reopening, markets once again flooded with people and vegetables, the occupants of stolen UN vehicles waving to taunt us, schools reopening, smiles on the faces of children, and when children smile, there must be hope of a future. Somalia is a country facing a long struggle to reach even basic normality, a respect of human life. I leave you with the words of my mechanic, Abdullah Muhammad Ali, when one day I asked him for the time. "No watch, Mr. Morris, at home. Thief with gun will steal if I wear." He pointed over to the security wall to the road outside, and he wondered how I could be so foolish not to realise this. Yes, Somalia under conflict. And the situation is virtually not improved. In fact, it has got worse with the advent of the Muslim extremists. But that's life. I do believe everybody has the right to be happy, as long as they're not affecting the happiness of anybody else. But we must protect our children, all children of all races, for they are our future. And when they are brought up in a traumatized situation, what can you expect of the next generation? Anyway, thank you for listening. Please do buy a hard copy. Appreciate it. Ciao for now.